The Godric's Hollow scene in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows is deeply melancholic. It's rich with symbolism and is in dialogue with the Anglo-Celtic history of Great Britain. It's also a Christmas scene with spectacular commentary on how Christmas is celebrated in the current era. In it, Harry and Hermione enter Godric's Hollow while searching for Horcruxes and more information about the Deathly Hallows. Near the end, they encounter a graveyard annexed near St. Jerome's Church. As a result, Harry mourns his parents at their gravestone. Hermione, in a fitting touch, forms a wreath made from Christmas roses while the snow lingers among the living and the dead. It's a sharp contrast to previous jolly Christmas scenes in Harry Potter. Whether it's Harry getting a present from Molly Weasley or the hijinks with a polyjuice potion. In this video, I will explore the melancholy present within the graveyard scene and explore the complex web of symbols and historical dialogue. I'll also present a theory on Muggle and Wizard relations in the Harry Potter universe. I'm Madeline Rose Jones, and I help you understand the world through fiction. Subscribe for frequent videos about history, literature, and culture. Welcome to Snowy Fictions. Godric's Hollow, as I pointed out in the introduction, is brimming with symbolism. There are multiple symbols worth analysing. The graveyard, as well as the church, the wintry snow, and finally, the Christmas lights. Yet, before that, we must consider the town of Godric's Hollow. Set in the west of England, the town resembles many cute villages in the Cotswolds, commonly associated with rich British and English history and heritage. The timber houses support this, and they wouldn't be out of place in somewhere like Lecoq, Wiltshire. As we know from Harry Potter lore, the village of Godric's Hollow isn't that large. It's also where James and Lily Potter lived, and where Voldemort ultimately murdered them. Beyond the Potters, other notable families and individuals in Godric's Hollow include Albus Dumbledore and Bathilda Bagshot. There's a certain notion of the past dominating the present in Godric's Hollow, where previous generations have left their mark. Which brings us to the symbolic element of the scene. I'll begin with the graveyard and the church, two curious elements of the town. There's something quite British and Northern European about this. The church in the book is described as having stained glass, where light is emitted from it due to a Christmas Mass. When I pictured St. Jerome's Church, I think of all the parish communities I've visited in Britain and Ireland. Some fan art of the graveyard features Celtic or high crosses, and this is an impressive nod to the insular or early medieval art of the British Isles. As for the film, the crosses are more traditional and universal, but indicate a curious blend of Christianity with the magical world. I love this. I'm a historian interested in the Middle Ages and the relationship between Christianity and the pagan world. And I believe it is far more ambiguous, mysterious, and unclear. It is an error to believe either have nothing to do with each other, and I appreciate Godric's Hollow for providing an interesting counterpoint. The dynamic nature of pagan and Christian belief was also shown after the Saxon invasion from the 5th century AD onwards. The archaeological evidence of burial sites demonstrates a rich tradition and worldview of life and death. Secondly, consider the snow symbolism. Snow is a famous well-established motif in establishing melancholy in Western literature. I recall the scenes in Dr. Zhivago or other great Russian novels. Snow, and more broadly winter, represents our discontent, as per William Shakespeare's play Richard III. Yet, I always return to the James Joyce's classic The Dead, where snow takes on an overwhelming role as an indicator of death and the haunting presence of the past within the present. Winter is also associated with catastrophe and the dark night of the soul. There are several poems in Middle English that describe winter in contrast to the more happy and joyful summer. All of this applies to Godric's Hollow, described beautifully in the book. The movie is also spellbinding and moving in the use of snow too. All of the symbolism associated with winter combines well with Harry's inner turmoil regarding his parents' murder and growing up without them. I also love the juxtaposition of stone and snow. Returning to my point about early medieval Britain, we cannot forget the vast and diverse range of stone sculpture within the Isles, and I'm sure they're even more breathtaking and moving under the snow. We see this melancholy in Godric's Hollow as well. I'll end the symbolic analysis by discussing the Christmas aspects. The scene in Godric's Hollow, after all, takes place on Christmas Eve. As mentioned earlier, it's quite different from previous Harry Potter Christmas scenes, which usually depict friendship, mystery, mischief, parties, and crowds. The Deathly Hallows takes a more heartfelt approach, and I'm glad it does. Christmas is a time where many reflect on who they've lost in their lives. The contrast to, say, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, where cheery music is played alongside wizard chess, is made more striking and effective. Now, to wrap it up, I'd like to present my theory on Godric's Hollow. I believe the Muggles and wizarding community had more contact and formed emotional bonds with each other. I'm basing this off two things. One, the church and the graveyard, where Muggles are buried alongside wizards. It is not unreasonable to believe that the migration of wizards meant the exposure to Muggle ideas and individuals, which caused a curious blend of culture. The second reason why I believe Muggles and wizards consorted with each other is due to the size of the village. Similar to Lecoq in the United Kingdom, I do not imagine Godric's Hollow having a population higher than a few thousand. This meant celebrating Christmas together, working in parish and village affairs, as well as having either a Muggle or a wizard for a neighbour. Although I'm not really sure about what kind of relationships developed between Muggles and wizards, it does fascinate me. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like, check out my blog Snowy Fictions, linked below, as is my monthly newsletter. I also offer creative writing classes on Skillshare, including on fantasy literature and fairy tales. You are most welcome to leave comments and feedback. Thanks again, and farewell for now.